All right, good evening, everyone. Sorry for this delay. Today's date is January 21st, 2025. The time is now 7:12 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, before we get going, I just wanted to make a short announcement. We're going to take a brief moment of silence for Hilly Munson, who passed away within the last month. And Hilly was a graduate of Bishop Hendricken High School and URI and served in Korea and the Army during the Vietnam era. He had a lifelong entrepreneurial spirit. In his youth, he delivered the Providence Journal and worked summers in construction. He was lifelong paper carrier, delivered flowers for Scott the Florist, was a Rhode Island State Correctional Officer, and for 35 years was a Rhode Island State Sheriff, retiring as a sergeant. He also served as a firefighter in SK and was a very active member in both Narragansett and South Kingstown communities. So please take a brief moment of silence in his honor. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the swearing in of the town solicitor and assistant solicitors. Now, due to a scheduling conflict, all of our solicitors have been sworn in before this meeting, and our town solicitor is James Callahan, and our assistant town solicitors are Robert Craven and Nicholas Solicitor. And I would like to welcome Mr. Bob Craven, who is joining us here this evening for the first time.
Thank you, Mr. President. I see some old faces back in my days when I ran the streets of Narragansett as a URI student, so I'm welcoming myself back. And the good professor here still remembers me, which means that I either wasn't that bad or I was really bad, and he still remembers me.
Welcome. Thank you. We're looking forward to working with you and serving with you. Next item is a motion to appoint the judge of the probate court. We're going to hold off on this motion until after executive session. So next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Is there a motion to seal the minutes from the January 6th, 2025 executive session?
Motion to seal the minutes.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the December 2nd, 2024 regular meeting?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the December 2nd, 2024 executive session?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the December 16th, 2024 work session?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the December 16th, 2024 regular meeting?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Mr. President, I have a question.
Yep.
Is there anything hindering us from approving multiple minutes on one vote, or does it have to be every single meeting?
I believe in our discussion during the agenda setup that it needs to be each item line by line. Is that correct?
If there's an objection to either the contents of the minutes as they were recorded and they might not reflect exactly what you believe you said at that meeting, then if you called for to do it as one body of minutes, that would be fine, pending any member saying, pull off December 16th, pull off whatever. That's what I was suggesting.
Yeah, like the consent agenda.
Yes.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve the minutes from the December 16th, 2024 executive session?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the January 6th, 2025 regular meeting?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Last item for minutes, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the January 6th, 2025 executive session?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the town manager's update.
Good evening, Mr. President, all members of the council, those who are here this evening, and those who are watching from home or will watch it later. There's a few updates for this week. The CEOs of all the municipalities were invited to attend the State of the State for the governor last week, and most did attend. The RFP for the old library. The council has been provided the RFP, which will be advertised this coming Friday on the 24th, and the pre-bid meeting for that RFP will be Tuesday, February 4th, so that the people interested in submitting a proposal will have an opportunity to view the facility. This is the RFP for the public that's listening, is the readaptive use, demolition, construction, sale, which we realize would require voter approval. This is just the first step to see some proposals that may come in from various vendors. The public hearing agenda items. It was brought up by members of the council. If you'll recall that at 7:30 every night, there's an agenda item on that says public hearings. And frequently, the scheduling of public hearings was also interrupted the meeting, and it was held at 7:30. After conferring with the solicitors, if it's just for a scheduling matter, the council can simply put it under the department head or under themselves as a regular item, and if there's no public hearing scheduled, there's no need for that section of the agenda unless, of course, there is a public hearing. In fact, the hearing itself doesn't necessarily have to occur at 7:30. It can be advertised at the 7 o'clock meeting, and it can be done when the council chooses to. The budget. We are in full swing with the department heads on the operating and capital budgets to present to the council a fiscally responsible budget to you, providing the same excellent services that are essential for our beautiful town. The Narragansett Fire Station, Station 2, located on Point Judith Road, is under renovations, which has received funding from several grant programs, primarily from one is the Public Safety Infrastructure Grant, and the other was the American Rescue Plan Act. We found out a little later than we expected that we had to vacate the entire building during the construction period, and the chief and I sat down. The chief came up with a great idea to approach the command staff at Fort Greene, which is the only large facility that could actually accommodate what we needed. So a couple of weeks ago, on the weekend, members of the fire department, DPW, staff, they relocated the fire station down to Fort Greene inside the large steel building that's there. And one rescue, one engine, which is housed at Station 2, along with all their gear and their living accommodations, have been situated down there. It's an ideal situation in the sense that they're in the exact same location practically. They're a couple hundred yards, and the response times would not be hindered at all. It was quite a large move. And Dan, could you put a few images up there? This is what Station 2 looks like now inside Fort Greene, and we're forever grateful to them for this. This was done by DPW, the fire department, and their staff. They had to move all their lockers, all their equipment, their bedding. You'll see there, they moved their weight room, their lounge area. That's a trailer which contains sleeping accommodations, showers, and a kitchen area, because they are staffing the stations 24 hours around the clock, and they need those facilities. And the tan tent you see is a DMAT tent. It's a sturdy tent. Sides, all sides, both ends and the bottom are covered. It's warm. It has, they use it as a day room and a sleeping quarter if they choose to. And the engine was out when they took this picture on a run, but the engine sits basically where those pads are there. And they can respond right from there. And I'd like to thank the members of the fire department and DPW for what they did to get that done in a very short period of time without interrupting service at all. And I'd like to thank them for that.
And I think we should thank you for coordinating that, Jim, because that's thinking out of the box, and that's, you know.
I appreciate it. And the idea on Fort Greene, though, that belongs to the chief. That one belongs to the chief for sure. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Does any members of the council have any questions or follow-ups?
Thank you, Chief Partington.
Yes, thank you for the creativity. It's very much appreciated, and thank you, Jim, for that very thorough review, as always. So next item on the agenda is open forum. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? Oh. Oh, perfect. Thank you. And as a reminder, everyone speaking is limited to 3 minutes, and please state your name and address.
Yeah, my name is Richard Vangermersch at 55 Osceola. I was in charge of Narragansett 125 in 2013. It took me years to get something going, and all of a sudden we had a spectacular series of events. And once again, I'm like a voice crying in the wilderness. But we in Narragansett in 1675 were part of Kingstown, which is North Kingstown, Exeter, South Kingstown, and Narragansett. And in that area took place the momentous event in the history of Rhode Island, and that was the Great Swamp Fight, slaughter, massacre, Holocaust, and I view it as a Holocaust. And that took place on December 19th, 1675, which is getting to be 350 years of this. I am proposing not a commemoration of this event. It's kind of hard to commemorate what happened at that day, let's call it a Holocaust, but it's a commiseration in which we take a look at what happened to our Narragansett and Wampanoag people who ended up in the Great Swamp, well out of any fighting area, and were burned to death. We know a great deal about the settlers. They wrote long histories on it, but Narragansett did not have a written history at that point. So we get all our history from the settlers, mostly the English settlers. And so I am proposing, at the minimum, a walk out of Canarchet Farm, where the Narragansetts had their chief farming area, and just end up on a bus and ride out to the Great Swamp Fight. But this would be a commiseration. If any people deserve a commiseration, it's our Narragansett and Wampanoag brothers and sisters who were annihilated at that particular event. And once those two tribes were annihilated, this allowed Rhode Island to move into South County and East and West Greenwich. So I am asking for consideration here of this event. And I would guarantee you, this would get Narragansett worldwide attention.
Thank you. Next. Yeah. Hi, please say your name and address. And
Joe
good evening.
Paglia, 39 Thayer Ave, Narragansett.
And good evening.
Good evening, Council. Happy New Year. I know you're fresh to the board, everybody. If you had a chance to look at the current town setbacks regarding lots and property, I have a small subdivision on South Pier Road that George Lenahan and myself own, and 5 lots there, and we're trying to build something nice that I know George wants to retire on, and myself. Some of the lots get a little constrained and tight, and I'm hoping that it's something that you may address or will address in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who has not signed up from the public wish to speak? Seeing none. Moving on. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve consent agenda items D1, D2, and D3?
Motion to move the consent agenda?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next, on to old business. Is there a motion to award the bid for seasonal trash receptacle rubbish removal for the Public Works Department to the lowest bidder, Joe Harvey Landscaping LLC, at their quoted prices, $50,387.50 per barrel, cost of $6.95 for year 1, and $50,387.50 per barrel, cost of $6.95 for year 2. I believe this, the recommendation was to continue this.
Yes, we spoke to the solicitor, Mr. Craven and Mr. Callahan. We'll continue this matter to a date uncertain, giving the solicitor an opportunity to review the appropriate charter and ordinances and to speak with the vendor.
Thank you.
We'll put it back on. We'll give you a heads up to put it back on, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So is there a motion to continue this?
I make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda, from the Parks and Rec Department, is there a motion to approve 6 3-year seasonal contracts to vend from a food truck at the town beach on Monday and Wednesday nights, only in the north lot, from the 3rd Monday of June through Labor Day from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., subject to state and local regulations?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just think it's a great program, and I think people, the residents really enjoy it, going down by the beach and visiting with and eating from the food trucks. So yeah, I think it's a great thing.
I have a question. It's a long contract, 3 years. Can more food trucks get involved with that in the 3-year period at some point, or is that a no?
The limit was set by the town council in 2012 for 6. The council, at their discretion, can increase that whenever they choose.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any other applications that are waiting, like in the dust, Jim? Like, is there anybody that's trying to get into that group, or is it just 6?
I'm not sure right now. Michelle, are there any additional ones? She said there were 5. There were 5 other applicants on top of the 6.
And how many new this year? 2.
So is it possible, so these are 2 nights, Monday and Wednesday. Is there any reason why they're Monday and Wednesday? How did that evolve? Like, I don't know who to ask. I can ask it.
It's been in place for so long,
Don't know,
I don't
right?
know. I couldn't tell you how they came up with that.
And did I just hear that there's 5 other food trucks that want to be there too?
There's 5 other applicants.
So why don't we let,
Can we let
I
them?
mean, I'm just thinking, why don't we let the 5 that are waiting be there Tuesdays and Thursdays? I don't know. I mean, is there town staff that has to monitor the food trucks
We have staff that are on there when they're there, but
purposely for them?
the increase the council could increase the number.
Is there room in the parking lot for more
I was gonna
food
ask.
trucks?
I think so, yeah.
I just don't understand why we would,
Yeah, it's,
Not let more
it was
businesses
set by,
come.
it was set years ago,
Yeah.
and apparently there wasn't an appetite to change it at the time, and apparently there may be now. And like I said, we do have 5 sitting in the wings, and the council at any time, if you want to talk offline on it and how many you might be interested in or in the meeting.
Yeah, for the sake of this agenda item, I think we'll move to approve these 6 and then reconsider the other 5 at a later time, possibly.
Yeah.
Just let us know.
Thank you. And I think the Wednesday nights coincides with movies on the beach, assuming we're still doing that. Thank you. And maybe Monday, and I could be completely wrong, may coincide with music. Thank you. So there's that soundbite.
Right.
I used to work at the beach and work the food trucks, so I know it's a very popular event. I've also attended and really enjoy the variety, and you guys do an amazing job at drawing in those applicants, and very much looking forward to continuing to offer this incredible service to our town, and highly recommend anyone coming to our beach to visit while they are running. And that was, again, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. So, again, is there any further discussion from the council? Anyone from the public? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda from the Public Works Department. Is there a motion to accept a reimbursable grant of $143,467.89 from FEMA through RIEMA from the storm disaster which occurred between January 9th, 2024 and January 13th, 2024, disaster number 4766DR, damage number 1381403, Colonel John Gardner Wall, and approve the expenditure of $35,866.97 of matching funds and authorize the town manager to sign the acceptance documents after review by the solicitor.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Any discussion? Anyone from the public wish to comment? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda, is there a motion to approve the interagency agreement letter and permission letter pertaining to the FEMA grant award for the Colonel John Gardner Wall with the Bonnet Shores Fire District and the town of Narragansett, and authorize the town manager to sign the agreement?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Is there any discussion? Anyone from the public? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is from the Engineering Department. Is there a motion to approve the 1-year contract extension for water testing and miscellaneous water quality consulting services with Rhode Island Analytical Laboratories, Inc., at their quoted contract prices under the same terms and conditions as the original contract?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Discussion? Now, just one quick question. As the original contract, just for the public's record, when was the original contract signed? And I apologize for putting you on the spot.
I believe that was 2 years ago.
Okay.
I believe it was. I believe it was 2 years ago. This is an extension which is actually an option in the contract. It's up to the vendor if we're satisfied with their service.
Thank you. Does anyone else from the council have any other questions? Anyone from the public? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda, is there a motion to award the bid for the purchase of wastewater chemicals 2 for sodium hypochlorite 12% to 15% solution of $2.1393 per gallon to Borden and Remington Corps, and for sodium bisulfite 38% solution at $3.05 per gallon to JCI Jones Chemicals, Inc.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Now, I know there was a lot of chemicals and interesting words there, so if anyone has any questions. Seeing none. Anyone from the public? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next, on to human resources. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution revising the proposed wages for certain seasonal, part-time, and temporary employees for fiscal year 2024 to 2025?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Discussion?
Quick question regarding the truck driver position. Why was there such a jump in the upper range of payouts versus all other positions? Is that a license requirement thing, or?
There are requirements for them, CDLs and whatnot, but we can't get applicants. People just, they won't take the job, they just don't pay enough. Okay. And they don't get any benefits or anything.
Understood.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions? Anyone from the public? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next, on to the town clerk. Is there a motion to appoint 2 individuals to the Economic Development Committee for a term set to expire on April 1st, 2027, to appoint 1 individual for a term set to expire on April 1st, 2026, and confirm the appointment of 1 representative from the Chamber of Commerce for a term set to expire on January 3rd, 2027.
Motion to appoint Douglas Gilbert.
Second.
Second?
Can we just clarify to which term that you're recommending the appointment of Douglas to?
For the full.
You want to make the motion to appoint Douglas Gilbert for a term to expire April 1st, 2027?
Correct.
Thank you. Okay, now, and who moved that, who moved that motion?
I think Ryan did.
Ryan moved the motion. Is there a second?
I second.
No, I
No.
think Jim moved, I'm sorry, and
I
Ryan.
second, yeah.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next, is there a second nominee for the appointment? Is this okay, how we're doing this? Okay, thank you. Is there a second nominee for the second appointed term, 1 year for the term set to expire on April 1st, 2026?
Motion. Go ahead.
Oh, is it 2 for 2027?
2 for
Excuse me,
2027,
I'm sorry.
please.
Yes, for 2020, a second appointment for the term set to expire on April 1st, 2027. Thank you.
I would like to make a motion to appoint Ralph Balsamo.
Ralph Balsamo, any,
He's a construction person in town. He lives in Narragansett. He's a great guy. I think he would be good for the committee.
is Ralph currently serving on any other committees?
I don't think so.
No, he's not.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any other nominees? Okay.
No other nominees, but just a point of discussion.
Yeah.
Ralph, given that he served on the North Kingstown Economic Development Board, Asset Management Commissions, as well as Middletown Roads and Utilities Commission, I think will be an asset to economic development here in Narragansett.
I agree with everything that's been said, and I think he would make a great asset to the town and service to on the Economic Development Committee. So Jason moved the motion to appoint Ralph Balsamo to the term set to expire April 1st, 2027. Is there a second? Just need to make sure that we have that.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Anyone from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Now, if I'm following this correctly, the next, is there a motion to appoint for a one-year term an additional individual to the Economic Development Committee for a term set to expire April 1st, 2026? Does anyone have any nominations?
Is Jeffrey Cianciola a possible Chamber of Commerce appointment?
No, they picked Nicholas D'Souza
Oh,
for their
okay.
chamber rep.
Okay.
So that just is the person then?
But you'll just
We just have to
confirm their.
confirm that. Okay, that's what I thought, okay.
So,
So I make a motion to appoint Nicholas,
no, we would just confirm the appointment. We still need the additional individual. So Jeffrey could still be appointed to the 1 year. So if your
so
recommendation,
we're 3 people then we're doing.
yeah, 4 total.
4
So we already
total.
did the 2 years, and now we're doing the 1 year, and then we're going to confirm the recommendation from the chamber.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So Jim is making the recommendation to appoint Jeffrey Cianciola
Cianciola.
to a term set to expire on April 1st, 2026. Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Anyone from the public? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Lastly, is there a motion to confirm the appointment of Nicholas D'Souza as the chamber rep?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Anyone from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda, is there a motion to approve a 3-year contract extension with GovOS, formerly CoFile Technologies, for support and maintenance of its Town Fusion records management system at an annual rate of $23,400 for year 1, $24,570 for year 2, $25,798.50 for year 3, and a microfilm storage fee of $2 per roll annually under the same terms and conditions of the original contract.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Anyone from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item is a motion that the Town Council President appoint an individual to the Historic District Commission for a term set to expire on January 1st, 2028. And I see that there's a first and second on here. Do I just appoint?
I would just have them open the motion with the first and the second, and then you appoint.
Okay. So is there a motion that the Town Council President appoint an individual to the Historic District Commission for a term set to expire on January 1st, 2028?
Motion to appoint.
Second.
And discussion, I would like to nominate and appoint Joanne Schiffer to the Historic District Commission for a term set to expire on January 1st, 2028. And would anyone else have any comments?
I've met her many times here at the council meetings. She seems like a very nice lady and lives in the historic district on Boone Street, and she presents herself well.
Excellent.
I think she'd be a great candidate.
Anyone else? Anyone from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. And next item on the agenda, is there a motion to appoint 2 individuals to the Affordable Housing Trust Collaborative for a 3-year term set to expire on January 5th, 2028?
Motion to appoint Susan Bonanno. Cicilline Bonanno. And one at a time, right?
you wanna-
Or-
You can make the recommendation for both individuals.
And
in
Gina
one motion.
Jarama.
So you would like to nominate both, is that okay, or should both individuals be considered separately?
You can do them both in one
Okay.
motion if you want.
Second.
You're all in
Jim is recommending the appointment of Susan Cicilline Bonanno and Gina Jarama, and Jason is seconding that motion. Would anyone else have any comments?
I just think they're both great people to have on the affordable housing.
And I know Donna and I both attended the meeting on, what
The
day is it?
forum on Thursday.
Thursday.
Evening.
And that was hosted, there were representatives from URI there, the Affordable Housing Trust Collaborative, the Affordable Housing Committee, and I was really moved by the incredible amount of support from the community and from the university and the different committees, and to see everyone coming together with the desire of creating more affordable housing options in this town and South Kingstown, and realizing that we're not unique in any way. I think it was really great to see, and I think it was very productive, and I look forward to the next opportunity to collaborate. And both Susan and Gina were present at that meeting, as well as they've been present at many other affordable housing meetings. So
I thought the
agree.
turnout was phenomenal. There were over 60 people there who attended the forum, and it was a great turnout, and it was very informative, and it was well organized, and it was very good. If you wanted information, it was watch for the next one, because it was really, really a good forum.
Excellent. So any other comments?
I'm grateful for Susan's countless years of dedication and service to this town, and look forward to seeing what she can do on the Economic Development Committee. Affordable Housing.
Yes,
Excuse me.
Affordable Housing Trust Collaborative. Thank you. Any
Couple
other
steps
comments?
behind.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with everybody. Their passion is unyielding, and I think that they will both make fantastic additions.
Thank you. Anyone from the public wish to speak? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Finally, on to the town council. Is there a motion to approve Spotlight on Schools, a 10-minute presentation to be held at the second meeting of each month to allow the superintendent of schools and/or his designees, principals, teachers, students to share with the town council programs, art shows, student achievements, teacher recognitions, etc.?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Discussion?
I would just, I presented this motion. I had the opportunity to meet with the superintendent of schools, and during that conversation, he was telling me all the things that were happening in the schools, and quite honestly, I was so impressed, and I thought, people need to know what's going on, what our students are doing, the education that they're getting, the art shows that they're doing, and all the programs that they have. And I thought it would be really important for the residents to be able to see that, because quite honestly, if you don't have children in the school district or grandchildren, chances are you really don't know what's happening in our schools. And there's so many great things happening. So I talked to the superintendent, and we talked about this opportunity to come to the town council and just be able to inform us as well as the residents of all the great things that are happening in the schools. Unfortunately, most of the time, there's so much misinformation and biased opinions on social media, and for some people, that's their only form of information. That's where they get their information from. So I think it's important. We ran on community, and I think it's great that part of what we need to do is to present to the people our community and our schools and the great things that are happening within our communities. So that's why I'm proposing this motion.
And I'm seconding it only because, I saw what we had when we had the work session with the school department, and how much information was told to us, and the questions and answers and stuff, and I think the public should see that more often than not. So I think it's a great idea.
I'm 100% behind this. It's a fantastic idea. It's a great time to communicate with the town and the community about everything that's going on, and to be continuously updated will be a pleasure.
Let's celebrate our youth.
And I couldn't agree more. As a former member of the school committee for 4 years, I know how important it is to get the information out there, and I will continue to advocate for residents to tune in on the third Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. is the school committee meetings, and there's a student representative who provides an update on the goings-on in the schools, different issues that are being brought up by the student body, and ways in which the school committee can better address them. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity to elevate that student representation even more and to celebrate these different successes, but also kind of get us that unique scope into what's going on in the schools as well, because we value the school committee's service, the superintendent's service to our town, and this is just one way in which we can ensure that a showcase is made to celebrate those achievements. And with the consistent back and forth over affordable housing, the year-round residents, bringing more residents into our district, this is one additional way in which we can help to showcase the many achievements of our students and teachers, and allow for more residents to see, or potential new residents to see what's going on in our district, and we invite them to come in and ask any questions. My only question that I had actually for you, Donna and Jim, since you're both co-sponsoring this, is the 10-minute that was written in. Do we need a time written into it? Like, where did the 10 minutes come from? If we hit 10 minutes and a student's in the middle of a presentation, do we have to move to continue? And I know we're very flexible. I'm just wanting to make sure that when it's written and it's put in there, that we have the leeway to allow a presentation to go over if it has to.
Well, I agree. I would, agree with you. I would hate to have to stop a little child showing their artwork, explaining their artwork to us in the middle. So if we don't need the time, then we can take the time out. And I also think that as far as schedule, maybe during the summer months, this might not happen either. So just so that,
Yep.
we know that, yeah, put that on. Okay.
You could amend the motion to make a presentation, as there are no time limits on the presentations. The council determines that each meeting, if they've heard as much as they wish to hear, they can say thank you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to set a time limit for it, and I'm sure Dr. Cummings will be more than helpful.
Fine with that.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine with it. And also, if there's nothing of any significance, I'm sure he'll let us know. I can pass it along to you if he's unavailable for a particular one, or if one of his designees isn't, but it's a good idea.
So motion to amend motion to amend the motion to
Remove the 10
the
minute.
time limit. Yeah.
Second?
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda, is there a motion to schedule a work session to discuss short-term rentals on February 18th, 2025 at 5:30 PM?
So moved?
Second?
Any discussion?
I think a couple people have asked how we're going to set that up, and I really wasn't sure how, we're going to have so on February 18th, we're going to all show up, and are we going to create some subcommittees? How are we going to set up that? I think the staff probably needs to know how we're going to set up the room. I was thinking myself, I was talking to Donna today, maybe we have the same thing we did with the school committee, we sit at the table, not up here, down there, and we have, we're going to probably need to get representatives from different parts of the community. That's, I think, what we talked about when we were campaigning.
Yeah.
So stakeholders, and
Right.
I don't know if we should talk about that before the workshop, or
I think you and I, when we set the agenda for that, we can discuss format, and at the same time, we're approving the date of this workshop. I believe the standard format for the workshops is, you're correct, we do sit down there, and we would engage in the back and forth discussion, and then we would open it up to, possibly open it up to the public and have them come in and offer feedback and recommendations.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? Is it legal to have breakout rooms? Could you like separate, could you go into other rooms and
For the-
discuss?
for
We
the
wouldn't,
council?
but maybe,
No, I've been to conferences where people, they call it roundtable discussions, like, you'd send some people over there in the corner, and then they all come back and you consolidate your ideas, and it's very productive, I think.
It was very similar to the work session they had in the presentation when Galilee came in, when they did the Galilee presentation, the URI students. They had set up different, everyone was in the room, the council was in the room.
right.
And they gave their different proposals for the Galilee, their vision, the URI students did. But there's no reason, the council moves down to the pit, meets with the council here. Everyone will have a copy of the existing ordinance that's on hold with the TRO. And prior to that, if the council wants any more data available, just let us know. Within a period of time, we can assemble it all, we can make copies for the public and for the council.
Would there be any way to get an idea how many people would be attending? Like whether there'd be 100 people here or 30 people here or 5 people? I mean, do we have any way of gauging or asking people to click in on something to have it so that we have some idea of the format that we can work with?
Well, we do post it, we do advertise it. It's on our social media, on our town webpage. As far as RSVPs for a workshop, that's...
No, okay. I was just, I just think the format it's going to be according to how many people show up. I mean, if it's
I would guess based on the short-term rental
it may
public hearings,
be a lot.
It will be a significant
Yes.
crowd. It'll be a full house, I think.
Okay.
So this is, again, the format is something that, Jim and I can discuss when we're setting this agenda for this workshop. And right now, we're just determining if this date works for everyone, and then as we advertise it with the agenda, it'll be more clear, I think, as to how that format will be run. So is everyone okay with that?
Yep.
So, and we've already moved this motion. And is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? Seeing none, any additional comments from the council? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Lastly, is there a motion to retire into executive session of the town council in accordance with Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-4 and 42-46-5A1 to discuss personnel interviewing candidates for the position of probate judge and for the purpose of discussion of personnel, the positions of town solicitor and assistant solicitor pursuant to 42-46-5A1.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Too bad we can't.
Okay, Dan, you're all set? Thank you. So the time is now 10:55, and the council just got out of executive session. And while in executive session, the council voted 5-0 to approve the salary of the probate judge to continue with the current salary. And the council also voted 5-0 to award the town solicitor the salary of annual flat rate salary of $110,000 and an hourly rate for litigation and special projects of $150. And then the town council also voted 5-0 on awarding the assistant town solicitor a $50,000 flat rate annually and a hourly rate for litigation and special projects at a rate of $150 an hour,
With your effective date.
with the effective date of February 3rd. Thank you. And then the council voted 5-0 on sealing the minutes from executive session. And that leads us to where we are right now. Are we good with executive session?
Council President, just the vote to exit and reconvene also.
Sorry.
The vote to exit and reconvene.
Oh, yes, and then there was a vote on the motion to exit and reconvene, which passed 5-0 as well. And we reconvened at 10:55. Good? Thank you. And now, circling back, there was a motion earlier on the agenda to continue A2, which was a motion to appoint the judge of the probate court, and we had continued it until after executive session. And upon interviewing all three of the candidates who were highly qualified for the position of the probate judge, it was the consensus of the council to recommend that we continue working with, I want to make sure, Anthony Mignanelli with the current salary, and any increases will be discussed at a later time. Am I
First,
leaving
second,
anything
and
out?
the vote, though.
Oh, I
Just
know.
do the first, second, and the vote.
So that was the general consensus. So is there a motion to appoint Anthony Mignanelli to the judge of the probate court?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Anyone from the public? Just kidding. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. And I believe we're at the end of our meeting finally. Is there a motion to adjourn? Our next meeting, actually, for the record, is next Monday. We will be hosting a workshop here. And the time of that meeting, I believe, is 6 o'clock. Thank you. 6 o'clock to discuss, to have a zoning workshop. And is there a motion to adjourn at 11:02 p.m.?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?